Oscar, we're gonna have to talk about this. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back. We're actually standing here at Maximo Marina, and like the title suggests, we have us a 36 Regal. We're gonna be putting a network in this. We got our wagon full of parts here, so let's just get started. Well, here she is. I know we just worked on one of these a couple episodes ago. We're not actually fixing anything on this one. This is a 2022. We are going to be adding a network to our Garmin system here. Actually, everything in the boat, because it's either Nmea or networked. So, in order to explain a lot of this, let's get this top cover off here, because all of our wiring is pretty much in the dash here. So let's get a few things from our tool bag. We're just going to pass it through the window here, because I don't need that much stuff, and I'll be able to just set it in here without having the fear of dropping everything in the water, because I don't know how many tools has the sea taken from me. Alright, in order to get this off here, you actually have a little tab back here. It's got a screw in it, and then it's hinged in the front. It's got like little slider pieces that hang on. Be careful not to stress this fabric. Just back it out nicely. Not too long of screws, but there's one on each side. And there we go. Get the other side real quick, get the screws out so we don't scrape anything. Alright, now the screws are out. You can just slide this, lift up on it. Just come right off there. Alright, we're opened up. And now we can get inside of our dash here. We can see the back of our Garmin's, all of our components down here, some Yamaha gateways, Lumar controller. That guy right there is our Fireboy. It's more Yamaha network stuff. And then we have our Ethernet cables, which go in the back of our Garmin's. There's 5, but we only have 4 available. And that's the reason why we're expanding it. This is a network shunt, which would be killing the power from the network. That's for the camera. We got a Garmin, that would just be for our autopilot. What else we got here? And here's our Nmea network. So our Ethernet cables here. There's a couple differences between the two here. So a lot of people wonder why you have Ethernet cable and a Nmea network. I'll try to explain the best I can the differences here. And Nmea is actually a network. So if you look, everything's connected and it's split, just like a network would be, where you got one in and one out, tees out like a spider web. That's actually a network, whereas Ethernet cables are source to source. So you plug one from one Garmin to the other Garmin. It doesn't create an actual network. So it's just information sharing here. And Nmea, which is Nmea 2000, I'm pretty sure they call it still, this is the only thing that will have a GPS signal go through it. So all your GPS information, all your data sources are through a network. As where this is just more of an information sharing. Well, hopefully you get the idea. Anyway, let's find a spot for our new little expander here. So this guy here, it's got a couple screw holes in it here. We can put it down inside of this dash, but we gotta find a good spot. It's gonna disappear in the camera. We got plenty of room to add it to it right here. I don't think there's much else. All right, I think the first thing we need to do before we try to get that in place is move some of these wires that are pinned down here, because they're kind of just out in the open. They don't need to be. We can tie all those together with zip ties. So get these off here first. There we go. Let's get everything out of the way here. Get rid of our ties. No reason to leave them on the wiring. This big one over here we'll cut. Get rid of this one too. So now we should be able to kind of push our stuff out of the way here. We can actually probably use one of these holes to start with for one side of it. Should fit right along here perfectly. All right, let's see here. Look at that. Use that spot right there. All right, let me screw that down. There we go. Sometimes you gotta change tools for tight spaces. And that side's tight. Well, here's the $1,000,000 question. Can I fit my drill on this other side over here to get this screw in place? Ooh, how lucky is that? You could use all 4 of these, but I don't think it's necessary to put 4 holes in something that doesn't weigh anything. Alright, so our next step here is to find power for this guy, because there is no power source up here. All of our power is actually down here inside this hole. See how it refuses? So let's take this panel out right here so we can get all this out of the way and see if we can find wherever the source is, we'll connect right to it. Because this guy, it has its own fuse on it already, so there's no reason to add a breaker or anything to it. Doesn't take much power. Get everything out of the way here. Probably gonna have to take our speaker out too so we can channel our wire down to here. Use our long screwdriver here. Makes it a little easier to get back here. Reach so far. While I was taking these screws out, I just noticed something. There's a hole right here. Looks like this opens up. Look at that. Well, here is our power source. Let me get a flashlight and see. Well, yeah, we can definitely utilize our ground here. There's our main power. We're still going to want to jump off the back of this though. So we're still going to take this out because we're not going to even be able to get a wire down here unless we have access to pulling it. So this coming out and our speaker, so we can definitely reach it. Screws are out. Let's see if we can get this panel out of here. The wiring is going to want to fight me. There we go. Probably a good idea to turn your power off too. Our batteries are off, but you got ground and power all around here. If you drop this panel on that ground, something might happen. This is all power. There we go. Now I got the back of our source here. So yeah, we could connect it really to any of these major legs right here. We got 3 or 4 of them here we could use. So we'll just use an easy one like this one right here. So it looks like a good access back here. I haven't removed the speaker yet. We're doing that right now. There's our speaker. Hopefully it's long enough I can lay it down without having to unplug everything because it's got lights hooked to it. There we go. Get it out of our way. It's fine sitting on the ground there. Now we have access. This is pretty much where everything feeds into our helm area anyway, so we should be able to just feed something through here and find it. So there's the corner, and we gotta feed it right down there. There we go, that should be enough to find it. Oh, look at that. Could have done that better myself. There it is. I'll pull too far and make it go all the way through there. Now, it should be a lot easier just to go from here to right here. Let's see if I can fit my arms between them. Oh, I got it. Oh, and the camera fell. I bumped the camera right when I grabbed it. It's funny. There we go. Look at that. Now we can run ground, which we're going to have to run underneath, but we'll hook power up first. And we can put this panel back in so we can get our ground underneath. So we got to put some ends on these first here. I would cut these, but they're actually soldered, and they make it just fine inside of our heat shrink. So we're going to put them in just like they are. Nice crimp. There we go. You can use a special tool I have, but this also is rounded so it doesn't puncture our heat shrink. Give it a little bit of heat here. There we go. So there's long strips here that provide power to all these. We're going to want to use that side. So we're going to want to take the screw out right here. I'm actually not going to take it all the way out. We just want to back it off. So we can slide our power underneath. There we go. Doesn't have to be too loose here. Tuck our wire back here. And power. The reason I use these spades, so it's much easier to try to get power to our source here. Let's get her snug down. Alright, we're good and tight. She's not going nowhere. Power's good. Let's get our ground dropped down here. We'll try to reach behind our blower hose so I can grab it from the other side really easily. I can feel the bottom pretty easily. Can't really see it. There we go. Now we should be able to move this back in place and get our ground bit down there. Well, I can barely see it sticking out down over here. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to reach it with my hand or not. It's kind of in the middle. Let's see if I can move these out of the way without stressing them. There we go. Losing our flashlight too. Oh, I got it. This is usually where you get your hands cut up and everything else, is when you jam them in where they don't go. Oh, I can just barely feel it. Come on. Come on. I got it. All right. Now, we're just gonna add that to our ground real quick. That's our last turn. All right, she is tight. Well, the hard part's done now. We should be able to plug everything in here before we wrap all this up. Make sure it's all working. So here's our power supply, which we'll tie up to everything once we make sure it all works. It goes right here. There we go. Then we have our networks. So we're going to link this link to one of our Garmin's, and all the rest are going to end up in here. Let's start swapping them out. So first we got to find the data cable that goes between the two units. This one we know is not, so we can undo this one. So this one here would be our camera. We'll add this one here so we can tie it up too. There we go. Alright, so looking at this, looks like there's a green and a red network cable, so I'm going to guess that those are between the two. We'll find out obviously when we fire everything up, but the one that's labeled R is for something else. Radar probably is my guess. So we'll pull that one and we'll add it to our expander too. Radar can go right next to our camera. There we go. So this guy right here is our Seakeeper. This is the one that wasn't plugged in. We're going to utilize the port in the back of the Garmin since we have an extra one now, since we have an expander. Plus it's tied up. I don't want to cut all that in order to make it reach. And then we'll use, pardon my fingers, the other network cable to run to our expander. And that should be everything. It should be all linked together after that. Alright, there is our Seakeeper. Here we go. And we'll get it to our expander. This should be our last wire we need. And go push some buttons. It's time to turn our batteries on. So far so good. Oh, we got some lights there. That's good. It means it's transferring data across the board there. And that's the 3 that are plugged in. We only need 1 extra, so he has 2 more ports to expand if need to. Are all fired up. Let's check our components that are on our network, our Ethernet cable, the expander we just used. So our radar is part of that. Let's transmit that. She's spinning up. There we go. Yeah, I would imagine it sees everything around us. Kind of enclosed in a metal roof here. So that's working. Turn that off. Go back home. What else do we have here? We'll go here. We should have our Seakeeper. That's part of the network. Yep, now we got full control of our Seakeeper here. Go back home again. Let's check out our camera. Or that be video. And look at that. We got night vision. And it works. You got control. There's Oscar. That's funny. He's white, but he looks black in the picture. These are really cool at night. Fleer, whatever you call them. I might have 20 years of Wisconsin in my accent here, so Ooh, there's another boat. That's actually a Grady White. Alright, enough playing with the camera there. We actually have some rain coming for sure. So let's go look at the docks, see what we can find out, because we're about done here. I gotta tie some stuff up and put everything back together. But it all seems to be working. Let's go see what we can find. Well, jumping off the boat here, we want to end up over in this aisle. This is the big boat row. So let's get ourselves over on that side of the docks. Look along here, there's a lot of our boats. Grady White, like every other boat or every 3 boats is ours. It's every marina we go to. Oh, look, a Grady White. Look what we got here. It's a cobia. Oh, another Grady White. What do you know? I don't know what's underneath that. Doesn't look like one of ours though. What we got here, it's the Albury Brothers. You don't see very many of those. I think it's a fairly new company. Might be old. If anybody knows about those, let me know. I don't know what that is. Looks like a little cobia or something maybe. Yep, there's another cobia next to it. The Boston Whaler, one of our competitors. I'm not sure what that is either. A lot of cobias it looks like. And whalers, of course. And there's a big Grady White. It's a 376. Very nice boat. Don't sell. Usually a 336 sells, not this one. I just met this guy. Very nice guy. Good luck, cool boat. And we got a older Pursuit, a 280. They don't make this anymore. That top is definitely different than they do now. Next to it, older Century. Outrage and Boston Whaler. Sea Ray. See a lot of those around here. There must be a cobia dealer close to us here. Let's make it to this row. This is the good row. I like that trawler style hull on these. If I ever won the lottery, I might have me one of these. It's kind of my style boat. I like that big, safe, heavy hull like that. Slow and steady. I've been going fast for 20 years. We don't need that. We'll check this one out. She's pretty. It's where you live. I'm sure they don't live on it, but you can dream. We got both sides here. So we have a big azimuth. I like these. I think it's an Italian company for sure. We got a Princess over here. It's a 51. Cool hull. Big Sea Ray. I know this is they don't build these big boats anymore. We got over here another Sea Ray, the 55. That was definitely a common boat back in the day. Look at this thing, a Magnum. I like the name, Flight Plan. Look at the swim platform on this thing. Holy crap! This thing's a beast. I don't know if I've ever seen one of these before. Shoot me a comment about this boat if you know anything about it. Very unique and it's very long. It's almost like look at the horns on it. Very different. Look at these big cutouts in it. It looks older, but it could be newer. I'm not sure. Like I said, if you know anything about this company, let me know. I'm curious. Looks like it's got some big inboards in it. Hatteras. Look at that old girl. In good shape though. Hatteras built a good boat. Look at this. The Jersey Cape. Very rare you see these here in Florida. You know, there's 55 Sea Ray. Got our noise machine in front of us to scare the birds off. A leopard catamaran. Oh, I like these boats. These Sabres are very pretty. Look at that thing. Nice. We've got a couple customers that have these with their Pursuits or Brady's. Cruiser yacht. That's a cool boat. See a lot of those around here. In fact, the captain of our Lightning hockey team has a cruiser yacht. It's got like 4 350 Yamahas on the back. It's another 55 Sea Ray. I told you there's 3 right here. That's how common they are. Oh, this is a cool boat. It's an oldie too. Gonna have your Boston Whaler on the back of it. It's another old big one. I don't even know what that is. Pretty cool. Arm on top for the boat. Well, you know what that is. That thing is sweet. Vikings are awesome. Valhallas are cool boats too. I think they're the ones that make the outboard version of these boats. Oh, wow, look at the width on this guy. It's a big old cat. I've never heard of these guys. So many boat manufacturers out there that build these unique special boats. This is a cool one. Oh, look, there's a Flybridge 510. Another Sea Ray. This is a big girl here. Look at this guy. It looks like it's a little older, but it's nice. Oh, look at a big old galleon. You don't see very many of these. I think these boats we had like one or two on trade before, and they run on 24 volts instead of 12 because they're from a different country. They run everything more efficiently than America does, of course. Oh, look at that. It's pretty. The Mermaid, it says on the side of it up there. Oh, look at this guy. It's another unique one. I don't know what that is either. It's cool. Here's a Trident. These are cool. Look at the colors on this thing. When I get around to the other side, check out the little color accents they use on these. Pretty cool. Right there on the top, you can see the blue going up. Matches the hull. Pretty boat. There's another pretty boat right here. Oh, she's windy. What is this? Oh, Grand Banks. Yeah, these are cool. Pretty awesome boat too. Before we look at this monster right here, let's check out this Viking. Looks fairly new. It's a nice one. I like the Vikings. It's got an L on the side of it, whatever that means. Definitely a big girl. Matches our guy over here though. That's a big girl too. Looks like we got some more old Vikings and stuff over there. Well, that's the end of our big boat row. I'm gonna run back and finish my Regal over there. That Trident's cool. I like that thing. It's definitely unique. Anyway, that being said, I always appreciate everybody watching. I will see you next time. Later. Well, now's a good time to test out the new camera. See how well it does. That's pretty good. That's like a football field away.